Good morning, accelerators. How's everybody today? It looks like it's going to be a marginally beautiful day here in Cleveland. It is getting warmer, so that's good. And I hope it's getting warm and sunny where you are. Because I'll be honest with you, sunshine is a little bit of something that all of us could use right now. It seems like it's been a very dark winter and spring. So I'm here today with coffee and concerns. I had a conversation with my cousin last night, who I went to Colorado with last year and got this mug. So I decided, out of respect for her, I would be drinking coffee today out of my Colorado mug. It's my hope that I actually get to travel to Colorado this summer. And that's something that I'm looking forward to, is getting a chance to actually get out of this neighborhood and go someplace fun with friends or family. Today's concern is brought to us by Judy Tyler, and she had an interesting question. And I actually do not know the answer to this, so I'm interested in all of your opinions. So feel free to type. I can't see who's commenting, but I can actually see the comments. So the question was that she has events that were scheduled during COVID pandemic, and those events want to postpone and move specifically to the holiday timeframe. So they want to move to dates in like December. And one of the dates that, or two of the dates that these events would like to take are, December 5th and 6th, which anybody that's been an entertainer knows that the first weekend of December is usually crazy busy. Oftentimes it's the first weekend after Thanksgiving. It's the first weekend after Black Friday. It's the first weekend where really all of the holiday decorations are up. And it's when holiday parties start happening and corporate events and breakfast with Santas and Santa parades, Santa coming into town, all of that business. And then for some of you that are lucky enough to actually work in a mall or a shopping setting, it's obviously a very busy time. So Judy's concern was they want to postpone, but I know, or she knows from past experience, that she's very busy during this time doing kind of the Santa and Mrs. Claus thing, because she and her husband are in the business together. And they make a perfect Santa and Mrs. Claus. And she has regular customers that take advantage of those December dates and have for years. Now, those people haven't even booked with her yet, but she knows that they're coming. So does she take bookings or postponements and put them on the calendar for December 5th, 6th, and beyond? Sort of taking the spot of what would be a regular gig that hasn't been booked yet? Or does she save those dates open for her regular customers that she has every year in the December timeframe? To be honest with you, I don't know the answer to that. This is a situation that has only come up because of COVID-19. So I am going to throw it out there to you, and I'm going to hope that you'll type in the comments what you think that Judy should do. Should she successfully postpone those events to December and put them on the calendar, and then worry about the sort of traditional bookings later when they come in? Or should she continue to hold those very highly regarded dates for the customers that she normally is doing work for in December? And this discussion of like postponements and COVID-19 and the pandemic, which I'm sure everybody's really sick of, brings us to kind of another more inherent issue for entrepreneurs. And that is, when things get tough, do you quit? Do you find something else to do? Or do you just keep on going even though the chance of success is small? And what I try to do is I try to go back to what brought me into the business in the first place. So I try to think, why did I start working in the entertainment world? Well, in the beginning, it was just a hobby. And why this business? Why face painting for me? For you, it might be balloon twisting. It might be magic. It might be all of the above. It could even be something like hair braiding or caricatures. But why did you get involved in that activity early on? Was it an accident? Somebody asked you to come along and paint at a festival? Was it something that you had started doing with your kids and you really loved it and you decided that you wanted to learn more and then you loved it so much that you tried to see if that could be a potential job change or career change? That was my story. I had a regular job. I worked 9 to 5, 9 to 6 in a corporate environment. And I eventually ended up quitting that job because when I asked to do it part-time after 17, 18 years with the company, they said that I could not job share for the first time ever. At least in my experience, they gave that answer to somebody. There were a lot of reasons as to why they couldn't split my job. 2 weeks later, I quit. And when people asked me what I was doing, I said, I'm going to be a professional face painter. And people were like, what's that? So maybe you have a similar idea. The more I did it way back then, the more I loved it. And then I started finding out about magazines and conventions and classes. This was before the internet. But what I learned is that there was an industry for face painting, that there were other people doing what I was doing. There were people that were way better than me, and there were a few that were not as good as me. And that's how it started. So when things get tough, I think about going back to the original reason for why I got involved in this activity. And it was because I wanted something fun to do with my kids as a hobby. So when you're thinking about whether COVID-19 is going to change the direction of your life because you can't do, excuse me, gigs this weekend, or maybe even next weekend, or maybe even the weekend after that, I want you to go back and think about why you got involved in this crazy entertainment world in the first place. And think, what was your gift to the world early on? Was it that you were just doing a hobby and then you realized you could actually make money from it? Was it that you had this burning, yearning desire to spread joy, make people smile, add to party fun, have your picture taken, have the people whose work you had provided have their picture taken? Maybe you have some other gifts. Maybe you're like a child whisperer. Maybe you have unbelievable patience. You can actually create a quiet, almost intimate space with the person that you're working on. Maybe it's fun. Maybe you just love working around kids or families or parties. Or maybe you're crafty and creative and maybe had been an artist earlier, and this just happened to be a new type of canvas that you could work on. It doesn't matter what any of those reasons were. And I'm sure the gamut of people in our industry, of you, range from one spectrum all the way to the other. I have never known anybody that got into this industry because they wanted to make better money. Okay? I never have met anybody that wanted to get in this industry because they wanted to be a company owner and wanted to be their own CEO. Now, that eventually kind of happens, but I've never met anybody that said, I'm going to be a professional face painter, I'm going to be a professional balloon twister, I'm going to be a professional magician because I really want to work for myself. I'm sure there are people out there, I just haven't met them. So when you go back and you think about the original gift that you have and what you tried to do in sharing that gift with the world, that becomes your purpose. Okay? Was your purpose to manifest and develop an artistic trait? Was your purpose to spread joy and make people smile? Was your purpose to spend more time with your kids and thus, do something that they enjoyed having done to them, getting balloons, getting their faces painted, working with glitter tattoos, whatever it happens to be? Or was it that you wanted to share something inside of you across a larger group of people? So you needed to go outside your family because your family wasn't enough, or maybe your kids didn't like to be face painted. And that's how it starts. So that's your purpose. The second thing that you need in order to be successful on kind of a path is you need persistence. You can't really give up. And in some cases, it means that you have to learn more, you have to do more, and you have to start developing those experiences of the things that go wrong. We all have those, right? Most of us that have been in business for more than 10 years can probably identify, the 5 worst party experiences they've ever had. It could be that you can identify those after being in parties for 1 year. But the idea is that with persistence, you didn't quit after that uncomfortable situation. You didn't decide, oh, this isn't worth it if I'm going to be put in positions where a client's unhappy, or I have to drive a far way, or people are rude to me, or it rains, or kids jump in the pool after I paint them. You didn't say to yourself, too hard, let's stop. You just kept on going. And my encouragement to you during this situation is exactly the same, to just keep on going. For every time you put a foot in front of another foot, you're moving forward. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to be out painting faces, but what it does mean is that you do have to continue to remind your clients that you're there, that they're valuable to you, and that you have an interest in solving the problems that they have today, whatever those problems are. So how do you do that? Well, you have to be smart. Everybody's online now, and it kind of means that you have to be online too, because you can't see people in person and you can't be out painting in the park in the hopes that people will see your work. It's not about getting cheaper supplies. It's not about getting more training. It's not really even about more practicing. It's about connecting with the people who can tell other people about you. It's about what's called relationship marketing, because people hire the people that they know, like, and trust. So it's about connecting with people, either whether you know them or not, connecting with them in such a way that they can get to know you, so that they can get to like you, so that they can learn to trust you, and then they will share you. They might hire you themselves, but they will tell other people about you for sure. So that's what we need to be doing during this time, is relationship marketing. And if you build relationships, the bookings will follow. I don't know when. I don't know what your country situation is. I don't know what your state or county situation is, but the world is opening up. Face painting doesn't have to be done on the face. There's airbrush tattoos, there's glitter tattoos, there's balloons, there's decor, there's lawn ornaments, there's putting your painting in effect to make stationery, or sell your artwork online, or take in commissioned portraits or caricatures. There are things that you can do online, not only to build relationships, but there are things that you can explore online about how you can utilize your talents to pivot and do something differently. And that brings me to my next announcement, and that is next Wednesday on the 27th, I'm going to be hosting a free webinar that is all about the pivot. And what I'm going to do, hopefully, is be able to interview some people that have taken their face painting jobs to a different level during the pandemic. They have pivoted so that they can actually still support their families by doing what they love even though it's not actually painting on somebody's face. So, as much as you want to be out face painting, as much as you want to be out entertaining at parties, as much as you want to be out performing, that really can't happen right now. So put yourself into the shoes of your customer and ask them what they do need. Figure it out. Games, coloring pages, advice on homeschooling, things to do in the town that they can do virtually, museum tours, musical performances, all kinds of things. We're crafty people. We can come up with hundreds of ideas. Get those ideas out to your clients, and they'll remember you long after the pandemic is over. Let me see if I have any other announcements. Tomorrow, we're going to do the Thursday afternoon tune-up. For those of you who are unaware, I did open a membership group where I'm going to be able to have training once a month with tools and resources, checklists, and worksheets, and a really supportive community. That membership group is called the Driver's Seat, and you can look it up at, let me see if I have the website here. You can go find more about it at this website, accelerate-your-success-program.com/drivers-seat. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch. Have a really great Wednesday, and I'll see you tomorrow.